Now then, I haven't done a video for a while, so I'm going to do a fly tying one tonight. Just something real simple. Represents an olive. You can tie it in all sizes. I'm going to tie it in a 16 tonight, but I tie it from a size 12 right down to a size 21. It can represent everything. It could be a pale watery. You get away with that from probably an 18 to a 21. It could be an LDO. If you go into bigger sizes, you could make it into a March Brown or a large brook dun. Push, it would probably do as a mayfly, and it would work. It's the simplest fly that I've got in my box, and it's one of the deadliest. It doesn't need to be a complicated tie to be a good fly. Everybody thinks, oh, it needs to be this to be a good fly. It doesn't. It just needs to represent food. A trout is a trash feeder. So it's something that looks like food, it's going to take it if it's presented well. It doesn't have to have, 3 tails. It doesn't have to have 6 legs. It doesn't have to have wind bugs on. It doesn't have to have any of that. As long as it looks like food and the trout is confident to take it, then that will catch your fish. This literally, we can tie this in 2 or 3 minutes. There's 3 materials to it. I'm going to add some colour into it. You don't even have to do that. You could literally just use it make it out of thread, and it would still catch you as many fish as it does without the black. It does not make a difference. I add the black because I think it makes just a nicer body, but I have got them without it, and it will catch fish with or without it. This is the fly. I hope you can see it. It's just a little olive. That's it. That's a 16, like I say. But we'll tie it in you can tie it in loads of different patterns. I add into, like I said, tying a fly that's going to take me 10 minutes to stick it in a tree, stick it on the grass, catch it on a fence. I'm not bothered. A fly to me literally is just ammunition to catch me fish. I don't want a fancy fly. It's just a fly that I'm not worried to use. What's the point in having a box full of flies if you think that's nice? I don't want to use that. I might lose that, and it took me ages to tie that. What's the point in that? If you're fishing with flies with confidence that are simple, it'll catch you more fish than what a fly that's took you 20 minutes to tie. Confidence in the patterns that you're fishing and general food items will catch you the fish. It doesn't have to represent a specific thing. As long as it represents food, the trout will eat it. So like I say, there's only a couple of things that goes into making this fly. An absolute professional fly tyer pro could tie this, and an absolute beginner who's his first ever fly could tie this, and it would catch you a fish. It doesn't have to be fancy. I keep saying that because I can't, that's one of my key things is it don't have to be a fancy flashy fly to catch your fish. So I'll show you what it is, and we'll go ahead and tie it. So for hook, I'm using a Fulling Mill size 16. Fulling Mill, Hanak or Tiemco, they are the 3 brands I only use. Phenomenal brands. Never had a problem with any of them for bending or anything like that. So just stick to a brand that you've got trust in. I've got a trust in them 3, so that's all I stick to. So hook, olive thread, can be any olive thread really, doesn't matter. Whip finishing tool, scissors, black Sharpie pen, I'll show you why, and then CDC. That's the brand that I'm using, hens, but it does not matter. And then 2 plumes of CDC, Coq de Leon, and then that's hopefully what it's going to look like once I've tied it. Nothing to it at all. So, hook's in the vise, got the thread, start at the eye, whip it on so it catches, pull it a quarter of the way down, cut off your tag end that you don't need, back up to maybe a mil, if that, to behind the eye. Line up your 2 CDC, make sure they're both curving the right way. Don't want them curving the opposite way, so, like that. Curving up. Line up your 2 tips of your CDC. Pull all that to the end, so it's like that, and then literally just marry that up to your hook. Whatever you think, or whatever size that you like, I think that's about right there. And then back down, a couple of turns to lock it in. Cut off your CDC at a 45-degree angle to make a ramp. When I first started tying these, I used to tie all the body and the tail first, then leave the wing to last. What happens then is that you leave the plume, you can't cut it all the way, so I've started tying it in first, so then you can cover up with the thread. Same again, it doesn't make a difference. It's just, as you get more into fly tying, you want it to look a bit neater. So I now do that last, but it don't matter. Cover up that CDC, makes a nice taper that way then, and then to where you want to tie in your tail. Coq de Leon, I use Coq de Leon for all my dry flies and use it for all my nymphs. I used to use pheasant, but you spend time in tying a fly to catch a fish, and then the tail, because it's flimsy material is pheasant, the tail gets snapped off straight away. So Coq de Leon, it's more of a hardy material, lasts a lot longer. Offer up your tail to the length that you want it. I think that's about right. Length of the body maybe, it's up to you, personal preference. And then tie that in then to where the ramp starts, what you've covered up with the CDC. Cut off the ends that you don't want. And then literally just make a little taper up and down that ramp until you're happy with it, but nice and slim. Nice slim flies, that's what you want. My black Sharpie pen, I'm going to colour in maybe an inch of the thread in black. You could do it in brown, don't matter. Black, brown, they don't matter. And then open turns to make segmentation up the body to just behind the wing. Pull the wing back, and then create a ramp between the CDC and the eye. So then that'll kick it up like that. I like mine at 45 degrees. Some people might want that straight up. You could even tilt it back if you wanted and put it in, tie it more like an F fly. That also works really well. Going with finishing tool. Pull back your CDC so you don't catch it, and come in, and I do a free turn with finish. Cut it in. Cut it off. And that is it. So there we have it. What's that taken? 2 minutes? You could probably get it under 2 minutes if I weren't filming. So I like to tie in batches of 8. So you're going to make a batch in what, 15 to 20 minutes? What's the point in spending 15-20 minutes on 3 and 4 for you to lose it on first cast? Like I said before, it's just, as long as it represents food, that could represent any type of olive really, in different sizes, and as long as it's presented right and it looks like food, a trout will take it. I have in my box some with and without the black section to make the quill. It doesn't really make a difference. It's just a fly tying thing that I like to do, to put it in. If you fish them side by side, I don't know which one would come on top. It does not make a difference at all. I ain't bothered about putting in thread wraps under the tail to splay it and stuff like that. What's the point? It don't catch you any more fish. Nice and slim to win. Only key things is to maybe get your tail the right length and your wing the right length, but that's a personal preference. Once you've got that right, you'll be cranking these out in no time. I apply Tiemco gel to my CDC. It's a CDC gel. I don't bother with a desiccant or anything like that. With a CDC gel, I'm literally putting it on the wing only, and then when I've caught a fish or released a fish, I don't have to bother about washing it, then drying it, reapplying desiccant, anything like that. You literally just a couple of quick whippy casts to take all the water off and it'll float again. You don't have to reapply the gel, you don't have to worry about drying it. It'll float like a cork, and it'll float like a cork all day. You've all been there, you've all been in a hat situation. You know, there's fish everywhere, and you catch a fish, and then you've got to release the fish. You've got to wash the slime off. You've got to dry an elastic band. You've got to reapply a desiccant. It's all time that you're wasting in catching the next fish. If it's not something that you need to do, then why do it? So I've started using the gel. I don't need to worry about drying it or anything like that. I have got desiccant, but I very rarely use it. Very rarely indeed. So don't worry about if you haven't got it. But I would recommend the Tiemco gel. So crank some of those out. Make a box full of them. Fish them with confidence because they are a fantastic fly. Yeah. Crank them out, lads, and you'll catch fish. Guarantee it.